Say hello to the people, Phil.
Hello.
And welcome back to After the Hype, our review show for games we play on Hype. I am your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my good friend Phil Shoemaker.
That's me.
Here to talk to you guys about some Jak 3.
Yeah.
Now, if you didn't know, we play games live over at twitch.tv/2pennygames. Every Tuesday, 1 p.m., we put on a show called Hype, H.Y.E.P, Have You Ever Played, in which me and Phil show each other a game the other one has never played before. For example, Phil had never played Metal Gear Solid, so we went through and played Metal Gear Solid live. And you can watch that entire playthrough up at youtube.com/2pennygamescast and the After the Hype review for that. All up live right now, youtube.com/2pennygamescast. But this week, Phil, you had me play a little game called Jak 3.
Quote unquote this week, yeah.
Yeah, we're a little late on this one. Scheduling issues, and we're passing around being sick. So you were sick. I'm now recovering from being sick. So if we get some coughs, some scratchy throats, some clearing of throats, sniffles, that's what's going on. Anyways. So quick facts. Jak 3, initially released November 9th, 2004, sold 1.85 million copies as of January 2016, and scored about an 84 on Metacritic. These are the lowest numbers of the trilogy.
Which is fine. Because people didn't play the whole thing.
They didn't play the whole thing?
The whole trilogy. Like, when you have like a trilogy like that, people are going to hop in for the first one, maybe the second one.
I think that account. Do you think so?
Yeah.
Usually with video games, it's the other way.
Really?
Because that's usually like a movie thing, where like the first one does well, second one not so well. Usually for video games, sequels do better. Or at least that used to be the case back in the day.
I feel like that's the case for games that don't have like an overarching narrative.
And I mean that would range true between Jak 1 and Jak 2, except for the Metacritic being lower for Jak 2. But the Jak 2 sold almost double what Jak 1 did. So case by case basis.
Sure.
Maybe people woke up to the truth after Jak 2 and realized this is not something we want to be on board with. No, I'm playing.
Well, you say the truth, but then they fix everything in Jak 3.
They did fix, but nobody was around to see it. Anyways. Phil.
Yeah.
You've had me play the entire Jak trilogy up to this point. I
Indeed,
played one.
have.
I thought it was fine. It was meh. It was all right. Not a bad way to spend an afternoon.
Played 2 and you thought it was a piece of art.
I was not a fan of 2. And you can go watch our After the Hype Jak 2 review to catch. We talked for like 45 minutes about or I yelled at the fucking mic for 45 minutes about how much I did not like that game. Jak 3.
We went into this, and I made a bet with you.
Yeah, you did make a bet.
I said if you didn't have an overall positive experience with this game, that you could slap me in the face. And Tavin?
Well, I didn't slap you in the face, Phil. So
exactly.
I'll say Jak 3 is definitely a better game than 2, and I did like it more than 1. I think it's just at this point, it's just Jak cannot win me over as a fan. Like, it's just not gonna happen.
I think you've been tainted by 2.
I might have been, but
you got the dark eco in you.
Yeah. But I'll say this: I certainly liked 3 quite a bit more than 2. 3, I think, is actually worth playing and has fun, and there's things to enjoy about it. I think its narrative is better told. I think. Oddly enough, I did like the characters better in 2 than in 3. It was this thing where in 1, it's really just Daxter there, and then Samos and Kira are like there in the background, but it's like mostly Daxter takes front and center with Jak being a silent protagonist. And I found Daxter super annoying and grating in the first game. Second game, I liked him a lot more. Thought he was pretty funny. Thought they pulled him back and reined him in, and his jokes were a lot less patronizing. So I really enjoyed him. And in 3, he was still that way, but there was just too much of him this time. Like, he just had too many lines of dialogue. And I was like, okay, we could rate him in like just like 10%. Just like 10%, and then he'll be perfect.
Well, in 3 they kind of lean into making it more of like a duo thing, like back to Jak and Daxter, because they make you play as Daxter a few times rather than just like 1 or 2 times in 2.
Which, like, yeah, I did enjoy all that. And I'll say, changes to gameplay, man, they ticked almost every single individual box that I had issues with in the first game, where like they it's still open-ish, but it's really not. Like, it's more of a like go straight to your objective type thing, and then we're gonna guide you through these levels. And yeah, you can go back to the wasteland, you can go back to Haven City, and you can explore in those areas, but really you're on this guided path throughout the whole thing. Whereas in 2, it was like, yeah, you're just open, you're running around exploring whatever. And I think that guided path. I think it's just better for Naughty Dog to be in that lane. I think that's where they excel at. Even in their newer games where they're trying to be more open and trying to do...
you'd say Jak 2 is more open than 3?
Yes.
How so?
Because there was less of a feeling of mission is done, now go explore. It was more of a mission is done... the next mission's like 5 feet away from you, just go hop over to that real quick. There's really nothing else to do out here.
Jak 2 does the same thing. Jak 2 is
but Jak 2 made you go across the entire map, and then you get lost and distracted and you start fights and so forth. Whereas like in this game, it was literally like, hey, the mission's right next to you, just go to this mission right now.
I'd say that's they have the same amount of openness, as now it's more convenient. I'd say 3 is just now more convenient.
But that's my point in saying it's more guided. They have a more guided hand approach in it. Like, it's like, sure, you can fuck around and go run around in the open world if you want.
I don't think that increases guidance. That just makes things more convenient and closer together. Because it's not like it's when I think guidance, I think of like, this is the set path that we're gonna have you do, rather than, because you can still choose what mission you do when we have multiple available, just like in 2.
But my point is that when we hit Haven City, it felt like a linear level. Until we got like deeper into Haven City. Like the Wasteland, sure, is a little more like open like that, sure, but the Wasteland is it felt like such a smaller map because more than half of it is dedicated to the cars and driving around there, which there's nothing to do outside of being in the missions. Whereas in like Haven City, it was like, oh, this is just like they just like blocked off pathways of the original map to like guide you around until we eventually hit a point where you could like run around and do your stuff that you were doing in Jak 2. Whereas in Jak 2, it was literally like, mission's done, we're gonna put the mission the next mission way on the other side of the map. So you gotta like explore and like run around different ways and stuff to get there. Like, you have to travel to get there, and you're gonna get distracted along the way. You're gonna run around along the way. You're gonna be like, okay, what's around here? Oh, this is around here. Oh man, now I'm in a firefight. Let me do this, that, and the third.
So
like, whereas this, it's like literally like, okay, you finished your mission. We're gonna put the next mission a block away, so you just go around the block and you start the next mission.
So they do the same thing, where like at the beginning of Jak 2, you only have access to this one area until you get a gate key where you can pass by this like red gated area, and then you get a different part of the map.
Yeah,
and they do that and make it more and more open. They do the same thing in Jak 3.
No, I understand what you're saying. But it never felt like I had to travel for 10 minutes to get to the next mission in Jak 3, where in Jak 2 it did. And just the idea of like, oh, I got to travel this far, incentivizes the player to get lost in the world. Where in 3, I never felt incentivized to get lost in the world.
I see what you're saying, but like, there's still all the same stuff that's there. Like, it's
right.
Literally everything's just
I'm not saying
together.
It's not there. I'm saying you can still explore and still do that thing. You're just not incentivized to, because they're guiding you along this path to do more. Oh, come on, dog. They're guiding you along this path to do more of their mission structure stuff.
I'd argue that it's still, because you still have like the side, like little side challenges you can do to like earn orbs or like metal head skull gems or whatever. And those are way more of an incentive now, and less for secrets, and you can like upgrade your weapons that way now. I'd say that they're arguably Jak 3 incentivizes you more with exploration.
All right, this is a point. This is a point I did not want to get stuck on. So whatever. But I enjoyed what I felt to be a more guided approach. I think Naughty Dog just excels at that. Anyways, like even in like Uncharted 4, Lost Legacy, and in Last of Us 2, the open area parts of those games are neat, but they're not as good as like when they're more hands-on.
It's more just like spectacle.
not even spectacle.
No?
It's more, well, they use it for different reasons. In different games. But I always think that this team just always excels when they have when they're, there's a bad connotation about it, but when they're hand holding you through their game, I think that's when their games are their best. Excuse me.
Me too.
Look at us.
Insert Paul Rudd meme. Look at us.
Right. Shooting feels almost identical to how it felt in the last game, and I still had issues of like not hitting exactly where I wanted, and I still wish there was like some sort of lock on or aim or something in this franchise to like kind of clean that up a little bit. But their use of the different modifications on guns and so forth, and adding a bunch of different variants to your 4 guns helps tremendously.
Guess what? Some of the guns you don't even have to aim.
Don't even have to aim. Oh my gosh, it's so much nicer. And several of the guns I'm like, oh man, I have this variant now. All right, this is what I'm using for the rest of the fucking game.
There you go.
And I'm never touching one of the old ones.
You got your beam reflexor. You got your was it the arc vortex or something like that? The one that's like the electric wave thing.
Right.
You got your blue heat-seeking missile things from the same one.
Yeah. I was a big fan of what they did with the shotgun in this one, which you were like, I'd never touched that. And
I used it in the mission that they gave it to you.
Yeah.
And then I, as a kid, never touched it again.
Yeah, the one where it's a charge thing and then just this big AoE attack. Yeah. Oh, dude, fucking loved it.
Mainly because I didn't realize all the applications. We found all like you can hold it while doing literally everything else.
Your entire moveset is still fine. Like it does not limit you in any way. Overpowered as hell in some cases.
Very good. I'd argue still not as overpowered as the beam reflexor.
And there's a good argument for that, man. It's that spin and shoot, man. It just it
does wonders.
It cleans some screens up. I think Darkjack. Let me step back. The way Darkjack worked in the last game is it was a meter that you had to build up, and you could not use Darkjack until you built it up 100%. And this one,
once you use it, it's gone.
Once you use it, it's gone. Whether you cut it off early or you use your big super move or you
reset the meter.
You reset the meter entirely. This one, it is, you can activate it pretty much at any time. Different abilities have different amount of juices that they use. So you might run out of juice faster if you use certain moves. And then I believe you can use your most powerful move even with like a little bit of juice. But it's just that most powerful move will just drain you.
That'll drain it entirely. Yeah.
Way more applicable. Way more like, oh, I can use this in every situation, and I don't feel the need to save it for really tough spots. Right. I can just use it and have fun and feel like a powerhouse, which is fucking great. That in combination with all of the light jack stuff that they were doing, a secondary mode where you had dark and now you have light. In which you have, a couple more passive abilities.
It's less focused. I feel like Lightjack is less focused on combat and more on like traversal.
For the most part, but it's just a more passive thing in general, because like when it's just a shield or it's some healing.
Your time slow.
Or you're slowing down some time or something.
It's your flight.
Yeah, it's the last one where you get, I think it's the flight.
It's the last one,
yeah. But you also have like light jack mode where there's something special about that in combat that I just can't remember because we got it so close to the end of the game. There was something about it that it was like...
You're able to shoot at the same time.
Shoot at the same time. Oh, being... Okay, yeah. And then again, like you can use that at any point, which light jack being able to heal himself... fed it, like completely negated my argument from the last game where like I never felt powerful because I was always low on health because there isn't enough health drops, and it's like, well, all right, well, here you kill a couple dudes, all right, now you have some health, some light jack eco, also, and now you can heal yourself.
Not only do you have access to more health in just healing yourself, you literally have more health on the game throughout. Like you get more and more as you progress.
The actual health upgrades.
So you get like armor and it adds like health.
You get an extra hit point or whatever, or technically 2, but most enemies do 2 hit points worth of damage anyway.
Yeah. That being said, some enemies do way more health, way more damage,
which is fine because there's so many other things in my favor this time around as opposed to last time.
Exactly.
Like bullets that bounce off walls and guns that don't have to aim and me being able to heal myself and throw up a shield whenever I want and me being able to, use Dark Jack and have screen wipe abilities at the drop of a hat. Like, all of these things are like, oh, okay, let's empower the player, let's enable the player, which are things that I didn't feel the last time around.
Yeah.
Driving, they tightened that up entirely. There's a whole like desert wasteland Mad Max like car thing that's theme going on this time around. Those
the central part of the game this round.
Those specifically I thought were fine. They tip over way too easily for my liking. And when you turn, usually in like driving games, you do a hard turn and it kind of like puts you into like a drift. This, I felt like even at the softest of turns, like I'm like kind of drifting a little bit. So I felt like it was too easy to get turned in that drift, and I wish I could just turn a little easier. But it wasn't like overly frustrating. It was just something to kind of adjust to.
It definitely, I understand how it feels wonky, but like there's like it's literally just an excuse, but it's not. I don't think they did it on purpose, but it's meant to be like, oh, it's really sandy, so it's really hard to control. But like obviously the tire, you'd think that in universe the tires would be able to handle the sand.
Yeah, it doesn't. That doesn't.
I'm not
feel
excusing the game. It's not. It's definitely not. It's definitely very. I do feel like if you're going downhill, the turns are way easier to flip, mess you up. Which I think is true.
Yeah, maybe. And I also just felt like I was flipping at the drop of a hat all the time too.
For sure.
Not the best driving mechanics, but they're fine. They're functionable.
At least the on wheels driving mechanics. You really like the hover stuff this round.
The hover stuff, yeah, because last time around drove me up the fucking wall because it was like I'm turning too hard. I'm not turning enough. I'm hitting everything. They're blowing up. I'm getting killed for this. I'm in hover bike races that fucking take me 45 minutes when they should only take me 10 max because of all of these things. So much better this time around with the what are they called? Scooter, the Zoomers. It's just tightened to about where they should be, and then I'll say exactly where they should be if I put myself back in 2004 times. I'm like, okay, this is how they should have felt from the jump.
Yep.
It's just like they round the corners the right way. They don't blow up as easily. They can take a little bit of a hit. And they just like it. I jump in. I go, is this how they work? Oh, this is how they work. Okay, let me adjust. All right, now we're here. We're here. We're playing the game. We're having fun. One thing in terms of mission structure this time around as opposed to last time I felt like, okay, here are your mechanics. We're gonna build every mission around these mechanics. This time around, they went more of like a gimmick per mission type of structure where like this is the mission where you're on a turret and we're driving in a convoy and you got to protect the convoy with the turret, or there's a missile. Daxter has to jump on the missile and guide them. And by the way, that mission, holy shit, that gave me motion sickness like holy a motherfucker.
Yeah,
there's a couple missions that gave me that.
I feel like it had to do with like us being so far away from the screen.
To me, it's perspective.
Maybe because I didn't get any of that when I played it as a kid, and I was like right up on the TV.
There were two moments. Well, as a kid, I was less susceptible to motion sickness than I guess that's
now. Probably true.
Yeah, like I could go and like I get motion sickness off of roller coasters now.
Oh,
I
really?
didn't when I was a kid. Now I have to be careful. I have to like overhydrate. I can't do too much at once. Some of them like there are literal roller coasters I look at now and I go, I can't ride that.
Yeah, it was giving me a major fucking headache. This missile one.
Yeah, the missile, and it was just because of how jerky the camera was.
Yeah,
because it would just jerk because the camera sits right behind Daxter, who's sitting on the missile. And every time you turned, it would just hard, like 45 degree angle the camera, and I'm like, fucking Christ. That mission, and then there was a mission that affected me. It didn't affect you, where you're in some kind of like it was like a fighter jet or something.
Oh yeah, the one where you're about to go into the robot factory.
Yeah, near the end of the game, yeah, okay. And it was a mixture. There was a lot of layers of motion to this one, and that's what was doing me in.
Gotcha.
Because that's what does me in on roller coasters is when there's a lot of like layers of motion and shit. It was
all your axes are
they're all moving and they're all going in different directions and my brain just breaks. It was we're focused on a ship in the sky, so the ship is moving, so it looks like the ground is moving beneath us, and then I'm moving around the ship, and then there's things inside the ship rotating, And it was just like, there's too much happening.
And also, the thing that you're hovering around is slowly spinning at like a different speed.
And the camera was also jerky there too. So it was just like, yeah, we're just ticking all these boxes.
And then you got like more like gimmicky stuff. You got like the hang glider mission. You got your platforming volcano challenge with the lizard. You got your fucking, what's the one I'm thinking of? The one with the mech. Yeah, all that shit.
All these things, all these things. So it felt a lot more like let's throw in a mechanic just to be thrown away as soon as we're done with it.
Everything. I think like all the little gimmicks played a lot better than the gimmicks in 2.
They do, but there's so much more of them to where it's like it's way more noticeable.
Remember the Pac-Man mission?
Yeah, exactly. Why is there a fucking Pac-Man mini game in this fucking game that comes up once and never again?
Yeah.
Me personally, I would rather you build your game around your central mechanics than
got your micro games.
Try and do a bunch of micro games to
playing
like
some WarioWare over
interested
here
or something. Yeah, I'm just like if your main mechanics are interesting and fascinating enough, that's what's gonna hold my attention. And funny enough, when it was missions where it was just, hey, walk through this enemy base and fucking destroy everything.
That's where it's at its best.
Had a fucking blast. So yeah. Mechanically felt a lot better. They fine tuned it in a bunch of ways, or they enabled their player in a bunch of ways.
You know what else they enabled? Felt like I was doing something. What switch they flipped on? Checkpoints.
Checkpoints, yes.
They got the big old lever.
They were almost
checkpoints, and
they were almost
right on.
They were almost too generous this time around. They said, "Okay, we heard you. We heard you. Did not have checkpoints in the last game. This one, there's plenty of checkpoints. There were so many times where I was like, so we're going back to the beginning of the mission, right?" And you were like, "I don't know if we are," and it was like, "Oh." It was like you never even died.
2 feet back. I picture like the Naughty Dog offices or like an old like Dr. Frankenstein lair, and like Igor flips the switch to turn on the checkpoints.
Yeah. So that again, much appreciated. I think was there even a time. No, I'm thinking of a different game I was playing. Anyways,
okay.
I was gonna say, was there even a time where it's like I died right as a checkpoint activated, so it should have sent me back, but instead it sent me forward.
Interesting.
But that was something I was doing.
That's like some Mario Kart Wii speedrun
shit.
It
happened in one of the Spider-Man DLCs that I was playing.
Oh, okay. I got the notification for the PlayStation app that you downloaded Miles Morales again.
Anyways, but we're gonna move on.
I think I was behind the bar at work, and then I got the notification from PlayStation.
Like, God damn it, Tavin.
All right, Tavin.
I haven't even started that. Anyways, but yeah, overall, I just think the entire experience was much, much more enjoyable this time around than it was last time. I don't understand why numbers across the board are lower. Why?
It's definitely strange. It shouldn't be that way.
Like, sales, okay, fine. Like, you know, we're
it's the Metacritic number that's bothering me.
The Metacritic number of 3 points lower than Jak 2 that I'm like,
because I've always known and I've always heard everybody that like likes the Jak and Daxter series say 3 is the best one. They either say the first one's the best one or the third one's the best one.
I like 3 the best personally, but like I like 2 and 3, they're like almost the same game, just 3's just a lot better at everything it's doing.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why we're looking at it and going, excuse me, why we're looking at it and going, yeah, this is lesser. It just doesn't compute. Sales, okay. Maybe fans dropped off. Maybe the marketing wasn't there. Maybe,
I get it. Yeah.
Maybe people just weren't up for that experience again. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Honestly, so
2 decades ago almost.
As a kid, when I heard of Jak 2, granted you don't really pay that much attention to like marketing when you're a kid,
right?
I don't remember ever hearing that there was a Jak 3 until I had seen it one day in a store.
So maybe they just dropped the ball on the marketing this time around or something.
Maybe,
or maybe like. Maybe just like up Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal just stole the thunder and nobody else could be in this lane anymore.
I definitely had Jak and Daxter. No, not Jak and Daxter. I definitely had Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal way before I had Jak 3.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, man. It's hard to look back and tell. I mean, we could hypothesize and stuff, but you know what? Overall, I had a much better time. Oh, I meant to go back and look at my rating for what did I give Jak 2? Like a 4?
Dude, it was bad.
It was 5, 4, 5, something like that. Anyways, oh, there was something else I wanted to touch on, but I have forgotten it now. Damn it. Fuck. What was it? Narrative I enjoyed more.
Music
I enjoyed more. Oh, those now to just dive into some spoilers. Those little narrative twists we got at the end. We got a couple of narrative twists.
Hell yeah, dude.
Those are all exciting.
Yeah.
Home dude being Jack's dad.
Yeah.
In the future, but
Dude.
you don't know. Oh,
Yep.
that was cool. It was stupid. It was a stupid
precursors
twist.
being the Ottsels.
Yeah, the precursors.
Daxter's been a precursor the whole time.
That's dumb. But it made me laugh. It made me smile. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Dude, it fucking hits. Like whenever you're doing that last like rush through with that rhino vehicle with Damus. And
that thing was terrible, by the way. I hated it.
Yeah, I know you hated it.
Yeah.
And then you flip over and then Damus is dying and he's like, please give this, because like the whole game he's talking about his son, and there's like the whole thing where he's like, I lost my son. And he's like, he talks to Jack and he's like, didn't your father teach you this? And he's like, I never knew my father. And he goes, oh. And then like,
what a tragic backstory.
Yeah, right. And then so like that's like
got sent to the past.
Exactly. And then so what had happened is so Damus was the original leader of Haven City, and he got overthrown by Baron Praxis.
Right.
And then with the help of the, I think,
which just makes it more upsetting that we didn't get to kill him.
Right.
You know, it's just like, all right. Okay.
All right, well, you overthrew my dad. All right. What the fuck? And then, so like when Damus is dying, he, so the whole time in sorry, I keep jumping back and forth. The whole time in Jack 2, you have this little, the kid has this little amulet, right? Yeah. And so then when Damus is dying, he goes, please, if you find my son, Mar, give him this. And it's the fucking amulet that the kid had. He said he should be wearing one just like it. And then it like flashes back to the kid. Yeah, and who we now know is
what happened to that
Jack.
kid's amulet?
It was given to Jack.
Yeah.
So like Jack pulled out his amulet after Damus handed it.
Got it. He goes, oh.
Yeah, but he pulls it out after Damus is dead.
Got you.
Oh. And then
that's cool.
Count Viger comes in and is like, that's right. I was the one that took you from your father, and I sent you.
Oh, dude, the villain in this game I thought was ridiculous.
Yeah,
Count Viger. Yeah, it did not work for me.
So
at all.
there's two antagonists. There's Count Viger. Well, I guess technically three. There's Count Viger, the Dark Makers, which is the evil precursors. The purpley dark guys that live in space. And then there's fucking Errol from the second game who died in because after the last race he crashes into a bunch of Dark Ego and fucking explodes. And then he lived, and he's like partially robotic,
Robo-Man or something.
He's a cyborg. And then he teams up with the Dark Makers to try to destroy the world.
Again, I thought the story was better this time around, but the characters just fell flat. I was just all of it across the board. I was like, I don't care about any of you people at all. I'm like, oh, but this story makes sense and it's neat. And then we have a couple of twists at the end that make me go, oh, that's cool. Yeah. Okay, I like this.
I like the whole Wizard of Oz, like, don't look at the man behind the curtain.
It's very cute. Thing. Very cute. Very cute. So yeah, all of that worked for me. I'll say Jack 3 just as a whole just worked a lot better for me. I don't need any more Jack and Daxter in my life. I don't need any more. I don't think
well, stay tuned, Tavin, because next week we're playing Jack X Combat Racing.
Nah, I'm cool.
No, I'm kidding. I haven't even played that one. But no, I want Jack 4 or Jack and Daxter.
You should just call it Mar.
No. Okay. He doesn't get called Mar. He gets called Jack.
At the end, no, he has a whole line.
He does. He does. He tells the precursors to call him Mar, but then everybody else still calls him Jack.
Okay. All right. Anyways, Phil.
What?
At the end of our reviews, we like to throw a little score out. I want to say Jack 2, I did like a 4 or something like that. This one,
I had a great time with Jack 3, especially watching you play it.
You know what?
I'm gonna let you go last. I'm gonna give it 7.
And see now, Phil.
Yeah,
I'm sitting here.
Mm-hmm.
Stuck between I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place here on this one.
Stuck between the chair you're sitting in and the table you're leaning on.
Yeah, it's a matter of like, how much did I actually like this game, and how much did I like it in comparison to 2? How much is my distaste of 2 affecting my appreciation of 3 here?
Mm-hmm. Give me that number, baby.
Where am I sitting here with Jack 3? Where
give me the number.
Everything felt better.
Give it to me.
But nothing felt great.
Nothing felt great? That beam reflexor.
That's the stuff doing the work for me. I'm not doing it.
So real quick. So I talked about before. Breadsword had like a, and like not anthology is the wrong word. What's the word? Where you a retrospective?
Okay.
Where he goes over all of the whole series, right? Or at least the first 3 games. The 3 that make like a perfect circle as a narrative.
Okay.
So he talked about, you know how fucking who said that video games aren't art? Roger Ebert? Is he the one who said that? Robert?
Sure.
He said that video games aren't an art form. It was, I want to dig him up, resurrect him, and have him do spin kick, beam reflector shots, and tell me again that video games aren't art.
I'm sitting at with Jack 3. This is hard for me here. I'm sitting between a 6 and a 7 here. I'm gonna lean 6. On a good day, You'll catch me on a 7, but I'm gonna lean 6.
Coward.
Maybe, but maybe next time don't make me sick while I'm playing your video game. All right?
It's not me that made you sick.
Don't make me look away from the screen. Don't make me. I'm not talking to you. Oh. Don't make me look away from the screen. Don't make me close my eyes. Don't make me have to rub my temples for a few seconds, because that shit not fun. No real like hate gate moments in this game that I found. Just there were mini games that I liked. There were mini games that I didn't like. There were missions that I liked, ones that I didn't like. There were mechanics I didn't like, sure. Et cetera. And then just overall, I just wish I could aim. Just give me the ability to aim. When I point the camera up, make the gun turret shoot up. Please and thank you. You're chasing the spider bot. I was having trouble fucking shooting the spider bot's legs at the end. The big spider bot. The big fucking thing from Halo 2.
Wait, what?
You're not from Halo 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You're talking about in the car?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, just let me shoot up. Anyways.
I thought you were talking about in general. I was like, well, when you were talking about the turret, I thought you were talking about, like, the turret you have in Spargus where you're, like, killing the targets and those other, like, fucking walker robots defending the city. And I was like, you were fine with that one. And then the one where you're...
No, I'm talking the end of the game, like, final boss shit.
Anyways.
Yeah, I'm gonna land a 6 there. Ladies and gentlemen, that is gonna be it for our After the Hype. Oh, motherfucker.
After the Hype, motherfucker.
Our very sick After the Hype. We're very, very sick After the Hype review of Jack 3.
Damn right it's sick.
If you're, I don't know when this is coming out, I'll be honest. But we're working our way currently live over at twitch.tv/2pennygames. We're working our way through God of War 2018 with Phil. First time he's ever playing that. Yeah. It is going to get a little tricky with the timing and the scheduling because I'm going out of town, so we're going to have to put that on pause. But I'm playing around with some ideas of maybe getting Connor to do a hype series with us. So we're gonna have to play around a little bit. We're gonna have to throw some ideas around. We're gonna have to figure out maybe if we can even do it technically and still have Phil be a part of that over Discord or something. But I'm going out of town for a few weeks, so all of that's up in the air. But do check us out, twitch.tv/2pennygames every Tuesday, 1 p.m. Central Time, as we show each other different games that the other one has never played before. If this comes up in time, come watch us play God of War or whatever else we got going on down the horizon.
Do it.
Could be more Crash Bandicoot. Could be more Uncharted. Maybe some Last of Us down the line. Who knows? We're gonna get there.
Maybe some more Spyro.
But until next time, everybody have a good week. And Phil,
yeah,
say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye.